This is Qt 5 Design Patterns Section 1. This section is going to go over the course prerequisite, what the course is going to cover and not going to cover, along with some conventions and standards. We're going to make some mistakes, and these videos are going to be raw and unfiltered. What's important here is how do we get from start to finish? So I want to show every step in between, including some pitfalls and common mistakes. So you're going to see mistyping, I may mispronounce things, I may misspeak, but I want you to see the end-to-end process. We're going to go over what are design patterns, why we use them, along with the challenges of using these design patterns, and where to get additional help. Welcome to Qt 5 Design Patterns. If you're taking this course, you're like me, and you probably just want to skip the boring stuff and get right to the heart of the matter, because after all, nobody likes death by PowerPoint. While there's no code in this section, it does contain important information, disclaimers, and warnings. Do not skip this section. I promise I'll keep it short. The course prerequisites are off the chart for this class. I'm sorry, it is. This is not a beginner's course, and you're going to see that repeated over and over again. And I'm sorry to be obnoxious and repetitive about it, but this is not a beginner's course. I put that disclaimer on several slides because even in my advanced courses, I'll have people say things like, what is a variable? Or what is a class? They have no business being in the advanced course, and I have to stop everything and explain to them, look, you really shouldn't be here. You should be in the beginners or the intermediate class. And people don't like to hear that. So just disclaimer right up front, not a beginner's course. Here's a small list of some things you need to know. And I'm not going to read them all, but C++, Qt Creator, Qt Core, on and on and on and on, to the point I even put, are you still reading this? Because that's just a small list of some of the things you need to know. Honestly, there's more, and we're going to cover things without mercy. If you're taking this class, and I even put it in a different color, it's assumed you're at an advanced level looking to sharpen your skills. And you can research a lot of things on your own. For example, if we run a socket application and you're not an expert in sockets, you're smart enough to either A, figure out what's going on, or B, go to Google and look up some material on, some of your knowledge gaps and what you need to know. We're going to cover things without mercy. So Qt is a little bit complex in the sense that you have to learn all these things, and it has this massive learning curve on top of the massive learning curve that C++ has. And Qt itself doesn't really make a lot of sense until you know all these things, and then you see how they start connecting and working together to form an application. And that's really what this course is about, is design patterns, the interconnection of things, and how to do things a better way. So what does this course cover? Well, this course is going to cover common design patterns and practices as they're used with Qt 5. We'll cover design patterns and philosophies with code examples covering a wide range of topics. Again, see the prerequisites. You have to come into this with some foundational knowledge. Disclaimer, this course only covers Qt 5. I'm going to record a different course for Qt 6 when Qt 6 comes out. There's a reason for that. While Qt is known for backwards compatibility, there are some changes in Qt 6 that just are not going to be compatible with Qt 5. And rather than confusing people by saying, well, this video is for 5 and this video is for 6, I'm just going to freeze all of my courses and re-record them for 6. I really shouldn't have to explain this, because if you're taking this course, you're not a beginner. Again, this course is not a beginner's course. But the way software development typically works is once you have a running code base and a user base and a new version of whatever technology stack you're using comes out, you don't just instantly switch to it. No, you take your time, slowly migrate to it, test it out, make sure there aren't any weird bugs or massive rewrites you have to do. And on top of that, well, Qt 5 is going to have long-term support. It's just the way things are going to work. Anyways, some things that we're going to cover: classes, interfaces, inheritance, polymorphism, file structure, streams, so on. It's assumed you've read the table of contents. But the big disclaimer I wanted to put is we're going to cover Qt 5. So if you're coming into this for Qt 6, that's a different course. If you are looking for the Qt 6 course and can't find it, I'm probably in the process of recording it as you're listening to this. What this course does not cover. We will not cover Hello World, any of the prerequisites, command line or IDE basics, or specifics to your project's problem. And I have to kind of underscore that because a lot of people will take a course and then say, "Dear sir, I have a project due at noon. Here's my code, please fix it." It's not really what this course is designed for. It's assumed that if you're watching this course, you're an advanced and experienced programmer looking to find better ways of doing things. For example, if we create a QML application, it's assumed you know the foundations of QML. If not, it's also assumed that you know how to use Google and figure out how to learn QML. We will, however, keep things short, simple, and focused. Don't expect 3-hour-long video segments. The whole point of this course is to find simpler, better ways of doing things. Conventions and standards. People get hung up on this all the time. There exists this mentality that if you're not doing it the way that Apple's doing it, or the way that Microsoft or Google are doing it, that you're not doing it the correct way. Well, nobody can really agree with anybody. That's why we have standards and conventions, because somebody comes up with their way of doing it, and then somebody else comes up with their way of doing it, and the two often don't line up. The example I used was Apple, Microsoft, and Google. All three massive companies, fully successful, but they have different ways of doing things. So abandon hope, all ye who enter. Programming is a complex topic, and there are numerous conventions and standards that exist. There will be some videos where I follow one standard and some videos where I follow another, and yet some videos where I just abandon all rational sense of logic and sanity. A design pattern is meant to be fluid, and it's meant to adapt to whatever convention and standard you're using. So at the end of the day, it really shouldn't matter what convention or standard you're using as long as you're following a pattern. Expect issues. This course is about problem solving. Mistakes will be made. Let's be realistic with each other. We're talking about complex programming tasks. There will be mistakes. If you find a mistake, let me know and I'll update the GitHub source code. If it's a really, really bad mistake, I'll redo the entire video. It's expected there'll be disagreements on how things are done, as programming problems typically have multiple solutions where there's just simply no best answer. We may even break some of our own rules. So for example, if you wanted to just write to the end of a file, most programmers are going to say, well, I'll open the file in append mode, meaning it's going to automatically move to the end of the file. Other programmers are going to say, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to open it in read write. I'm going to seek to the end of the file, write, and then go backwards and verify that what I wrote was flushed down to the disk. And yet other programmers are going to go, I'm just not going to care. I'm going to open it in write mode and seek down to the end. All three of those ways accomplish the same thing. But each one of those has its own pros and cons. So just be aware that there are multiple ways to solve a problem, and I will probably make some mistakes. And when I do, just let me know and I'll fix them. These videos are raw and unfiltered. So traditionally in video training, videos are rehearsed dozens of times. They're highly edited. They've been reviewed multiple times for errors. They've been peer reviewed. You may even have like a dozen people sit around the table and go through the code line by line. And they're recorded in professional audio-visual booths. They may even hire a voice actor. So the person typing the code and the person explaining the code are two different people. And they may take that code and dub the voice over it. So the person's not even typing and talking at the same time. Yeah, we're not going to do any of that. So in the spirit of problem solving, these videos are raw and unedited. You're going to see and hear me in real time. And I want you to see and hear every mistake I make, and more importantly, how I overcome those mistakes and the thought process behind it. So sometimes typing and talking at the exact same time are not as easy as you think it would be. While I do try to be professional, you may hear me misspeak. I may mispronounce words. There'll be spelling errors. Again, I just made a mistake. You might hear dogs barking, bad words, a whole ton of WTFs. You have been warned. And special disclaimer, we're still in the COVID-19 pandemic here in the United States. So all of my neighbors are home. So you may hear dogs barking, you may hear lawnmowers, uh, loud booming bass speakers that my neighbor seems to love his rap music, things of that nature. I'll try to keep it super professional. And if I hear a lot of background noise, I'll just simply stop recording for the day. But just be warned, it's going to happen. What are design patterns? And this is ripped straight out of Wikipedia. In software engineering, a software design pattern is a general, reusable solution to a commonly occurring problem within a given context of software design. It is not a finished solution. These are not complete programs. So, it can be transformed directly into source machine code. Wikipedia loves overly explaining things. Rather, it is a description or a template on how to solve a problem. It can be used in many different situations, and design patterns are formalized best practices that a programmer can use to solve a common problem when designing an application or a system. This really goes back to our conversation about conventions and standards here, where everybody has like their own unique way of doing things, and companies create their own conventions and standards, but a design pattern really bridges the gap and can go to any one of those. So what you learn here, you could take and apply at, say, Microsoft or at Apple or at Google or your little, your own business or your little mom and pop shop down the road, that kind of thing. So a design pattern is really just how to solve common problems. Why even bother using a design pattern? I mean, what's the point here? Well, they don't really teach you a lot of this in school, or they do teach you at a very high level, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense because usually when they teach you a design pattern in school, you're just starting off in programming. You don't even understand why you would need this in the first place. So, why would you use a design pattern? Well, code can be complex, but a pattern should be reusable, well defined, solve a specific issue, easy to use, proven, and most importantly, simple. Meaning you can take this design pattern and apply it to a wide range of utilities, applications, problems, and situations. And honestly, once you really nail down design patterns, you're going to look like a rock star at whatever company you work for because they're going to slide a problem in front of you and you're going to go, oh, yeah, I know that pattern. It's very simple. And they're going to look at you like, how the heck did you know that? Challenges with design patterns. There's always a better way. Code is constantly changing. Today's innovative solutions are tomorrow's legacy code. It's just a fact of life. It's the world we live in. The goal is to make a design that lasts a really long time. Rarely, however, is there a best or correct answer to a complex issue. Use what works for your situation. Now, I'll give you an example of this. Back when I was a young lad, there was no such thing as cloud computing. There was no even internet. I mean, believe it or not, I remember growing up playing, what was it, Pong on the little black and green screen with the two bars, and then that turned into 8-bit graphics where you had Pac-Man and all of its 8-color glory. And then 16-bit came out, and then 32-bit, and now, oh my gosh, we have fully immersive three-dimensional worlds fully connected to the cloud. Some of these games are just insane. They're so realistic. So, one of my all-time favorite quotes is by Thomas Edison, and I won't get into who is better, Edison or Tesla, but there's a way to do it better. Find it. So the goal of a design pattern is something that you can take with you as things change. So for example, the code we write now, hopefully will stand the test of time and work 10, 15 years from now, even though technology is not going to stay in the same spot and it's going to constantly evolve. Where to get help? You may get stuck, I often do, and well, there's a few places you can get help. First and foremost, the Udemy course Q&A. Really great resource, however, it can be a little bit slow and it's limited in what you can put in there. It's great for conversing with fellow students, however, remember, they are also students. So many of them may not have the answer, so you're really just talking with people who may not know. I'm also not always available. Really great example, 3 a.m. Thailand. So I'm here in the United States. I have students all over the world. This one in particular, who I shall not name, was in Thailand. He signed up. He got some sort of discount. I made a whopping not even 10 cents. I mean, I can't even buy a cup of coffee with what he paid for it, but regardless, he's a paying student, so I'm going to help him. Well, he starts asking questions. I'm assuming his local time, but my time it was 3 in the morning. So I wake up on my day off of work, log into Udemy, and at 3 a.m. till about 3:05, not even a 5 minute span, he had sent I think like 20 Q&As. And it starts off with, "Dear sir, I am stuck, I need help." And within the space of 5 minutes, remember, I'm dead asleep, it divulges into, "Why are you not helping me? I have paid money for this. I give you 1 star." And I'm like, whoa, calm down there, buddy. So I had to message him, and turns out he was stuck. He was frustrated, and he flipped the 1 star to a 5 star. But point being, I'm not always available. I'm a human being. Shocking, I know. But a better resource, I would say, is the Void Realms Facebook group. It has 3,000 plus programmers in it. It's an open community. It's available 24 by 7, 365 days a year. Most of them have a lot of experience. A link was sent to you when you signed up for this course. Now, I want to really put out there that this is an open community. They are under no obligation to help you. So if you come in with an attitude, expect them to just laugh at you. But if you just come in and say, "Hey guys, I got this problem," probably before you even flip off the page, you've got one or two people typing a response. I'm in there constantly asking questions and answering questions myself. And I'm blown away by this community. There's a lot of other communities out there, but I just wanted to throw that out as a resource.